I think you might overly intellectualize it and say, it's just hair. People are well-meaning and have been reminding me of the India Arie song, you know, I'm not my hair, you are not your hair. And that's true, but I still want it. So I'm trying to find my way here. And I do believe going public will help.
That video is breaking down the stigma surrounding hair loss and inspiring countless women across this country. So much so that for this week's edition of Who Won the Week, there is no need for a competition because we have a hands-down winner. Massachusetts Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. Sister Ayanna Pressley, I just want to tell you, first of all, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for winning the week.
Thank you for the honor.
Well, I have to tell you, I watched that video. First of all, it was hard for me not to ugly cry watching it. And it was so inspiring. You talked about dealing with alopecia, and it was so heroic. And here you are today in your full, beautiful self. Tell me, how did you come to the decision to go public with this, what was a very personal struggle?
Well, here's the thing, Joy. I was suffering in silence and felt really shackled by the silence and the accompanying shame and isolation. And I felt firmly that in order for me to lead authentically, that I would need to be transparent. But also, I knew that I would owe people an explanation, not only because Senegalese twists, a protective hairstyle, and braids had become a conflated part of my personal identity and my political brand, but because as a woman and a woman in politics, and certainly as a Black woman, everything is political. This is not shocking. I mean, I've introduced legislation to guard against the fact that Black girls are pushed out of the classroom for how they wear their hair. I have colleagues who have been pressured by supporters and donors alike not to allow their hair to go gray. Colleagues who have been told that they should straighten their hair and not wear it curly. And so hair is political. And so far as who won the week, it's the millions of those in this country that are living daily with the trauma and the stigma of hair loss, navigating the world bald, which challenges conventional norms and societal standards of what is beautiful or what is handsome. This is a transcendent issue. So far as who won the week, I want to just give a shout out to Bald Nation, my fellow alopecians. This is an autoimmune skin disease that is transcendent. I've been hearing from men and women and children alike from throughout the country, and so they win the week. And I'm grateful that I have the platform to shine a light on this issue.
Well, I have to tell you, I have a dear friend and a family member who both have dealt with alopecia issues. So, you know, when you came forward with it, it was something personally for me that was so moving. But, you know, as you know, I am a beneficiary of the Crown Act that has freed even people in my profession to be able to wear braids. And I hear from so many, particularly young Black women, even young Black men who say that, you know, wearing our hair in its natural state is so important to them. It means something to them. And you, as you said in the video, are somebody who was carrying that to Capitol Hill. And so for you to now embrace who you are now, as you said, as a proud alopecian, a woman who has conquered that, it's this thing that we have about our hair as Black women, it is heroic. And, you know, that's why we wanted to have you here today.
Well, you win the week every day for me, Joy. So, you know, we love how you are. We love your crown. And we thank you for taking up that space. But again, none of us is here to simply occupy space. We're here to create it. And I'm very humbled that we were able to do that this week.
You are very incredibly brave. And I want to also talk about the other piece of what you are doing politically, because you have come forward as a supporter of Senator Elizabeth Warren and her run for president, and you're going to be out on the stump for her. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. I've been out on the stump for her. This is really just a continuation of what is a nearly decade-long close friendship and partnership in good. Elizabeth is my friend. She is my senator. She is my partner. We have worked on so many issues together, and including consumer protection for those who have been victimized by for-profit colleges and universities participating in predatory and deceptive business practices and marketing, supporting surviving family members who have lost loved ones due to this public health crisis and epidemic that is gun violence. So my being a co-chair for her campaign, one of three historic women, Deb Haaland and Katie Porter, one, I think it's a testament to the Warren campaign that they leaned in and made that decision to have three freshman women as co-chairs. And I think that our co-chairship does speak to the thing that I love most about Elizabeth. Policy is my love language. And she has introduced policy and plans that are about two things: power and then intersectionality. None of us live in big checked boxes. We live in nuance and complexity and intersectionality. And you see this reflected in her racial justice policies. We see this in her LGBTQIA platform and disability platform. And again, these aren't set-asides. These are policy proposals that are wholly integrated. So I've been to 4 states for Elizabeth. I'm on my way to Iowa imminently as the caucuses approach, and I'm pleased to announce for the first time publicly that I'll also be making my way to South Carolina. And I am buoyed, I'm emboldened by the deep, diverse, multicultural and multi-generational coalition that I see her building. Her ground game is strong, and that is how we take this White House back. It's by out-organizing the other side, and it's by staying focused.
Yeah, and you speak to this idea of intersectionality so beautifully and so brilliantly. But let me ask you a question that has kind of come up, and it's a thing now we're talking about. Do you think it's important in and of itself for America to have a president who is a woman? And why? Why does that even matter?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all bring our own unique lived experiences as lawmakers to the job every day. And gender is a big part of that. We know that when we have a diversity of perspective, opinion, and thought and lived experience around the table of policy, in the corridors of power, and indeed at the highest office, the Oval Office, that you'll see that reflected in policies. You know, I know there are some that would argue that identity politics is ruining our country. That's not true. Hate and white supremacy are ruining our country, not identity politics. There's power in the identity of a survivor. There's power in the identity of being a woman. There's power in the identity of being a Black woman. There's power in the identity of being a person living with a disability. I want someone that is going to be responsive. I want someone, people talk about Elizabeth being an extraordinary educator and professor, but she's a better student. And that's what this country deserves, is someone that will actively listen, lean in, and then respond with policy. And I've been in proximity to her for a decade. I've seen her do that in church basements, on big stages, and in gymnasiums. And I want a president that is going to bring their identity, but also actively lean into the identities of all those and make sure that we are responsive through our policies to ensure that everyone can heal and can thrive, and we have a more equitable and just country.
Well, Sister Ayanna Pressley, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, first of all, you look like a gorgeous Wakanda warrior, and so you are beautiful, and you are making it fabulous. You look great. Congratulations. Thank you. And also thank you for always encouraging Black girls to vote, because I know Black Girls Vote is something, a passion that we both share, that organization. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Joy. See you soon.
Thank you. Have a great day. More